Hey guys, how's it going? Chez back again with episode number 29 of the AC Milan career mode here on Xbox One. Today we start with our first Champions League action of the season. Now rather unfortunately, we've been drawn against Zenit St Petersburg in the group yet again for the second year running, but we also have two new teams in our group, one of which is of course Paris Saint-Germain, as you can see on your screen, and Ajax. So it's not the easiest of groups, to be completely honest. All three teams pose very different threats, but we're going to get off to a half decent start here at home against Zenit. We actually pick up a penalty in the opening few minutes for an obvious, or rather not obvious, handball. It looks like it may have just brushed the arm on the way past to hit him on the side of the head, but you can't really tell too much whether that was a definite penalty or not. But the referee deemed it a pen. Balotelli stepped up, smashed it into the top left-hand corner, and we take an early 1-0 lead. Now, of course, earlier on in the season, we've been getting some very, very nice results. We're still extremely early on. It's very, very early days here as Guita makes another fantastic save, and a second double save as well, as the clearance is rather fluffed. But anyway, we've been making some movements in recent games and scoring a lot of goals, proving that we've definitely progressed as a team. And there have been a couple of shouts in the comments section. As, again, the gameplay draws me away from the commentary. Absolute screamer from Mario Balotelli in the 43rd minute to put us 2-0 up, give us a good lead as we head in towards half-time. But I will get the point out. We've had a couple of calls in the comments for us to step it up to legendary. Now, I can understand why you guys might be calling for that, or a couple of you might be calling for that, because, of course, we are doing very, very well right now. But as always, things can turn, and just because we're having a good start to the season doesn't mean it's too easy. So we're going to see it out for at least the first couple of months. I don't want to just jump up to legendary too early, prematurely almost, and actually screw myself over. So we're going to ride it out for the time being. We are playing very good football, and the players that we've brought into the club recently, namely Pedro, Beñat, and of course Julian Draxler, who we brought in yesterday. If you missed yesterday's video, then of course feel free to check it out. There's a link as an annotation in the bottom left hand side of your screen, and of course check the channel page for it as well. But yeah, we brought in Julian Draxler yesterday. He's settled in very, very well indeed as well, and we are playing some very, very nice football. Rubinho picks up advantage there. Lovely Maradona turn and a great finish to put us 3-0 up in just before the 79th minute. It's the 69th minute, giggity, make up your own jokes. But Rubinho scores in the 69th minute, and we go 3-0 up here against Zenit. It was a quite, well, actually no, to be completely honest, it wasn't a comfortable game, and they were going to create a chance here to pull one back late on, but unfortunately for them, he fluffed it and kind of skewered it wide, and it didn't go anywhere near the goal and wasn't that much of a threat. But 3-0 doesn't tell the whole story. Zenit St Petersburg were definitely a match for us in chances created and in possession, etc. It just so happened that we were clinical and they weren't. But the board sent me a weird email. I wasn't expecting something like this early on in the season, especially considering we're doing very, very well so far this season. We've won both of our league games, and we've won our first Champions League game. We won the Super Coppa as well against Juventus a couple of days ago. So it's a weird email to receive. Kind of makes me a little bit unnervy as towards the board's relationship with me, but still, we'll push on and try and pick up 3 points in Calerie, and just, you know, if the board are going to be a little bit unsure of me, then I'm just going to make sure that I keep putting wins on the board, and that will just hopefully make them definitely make up their mind about me, because we didn't have the worst of seasons last year. We came second in the league, got to the final of the Coppa Nazionale. Admittedly, in the Champions League, we got knocked out in the round of 16 against Borussia Dortmund, but we made some good signings. We have spent a lot of money. Perhaps that is part of it, but you know, we spent the money and we're doing well with the players that we brought in, so hopefully the board can kind of just ease off my back a little bit there. But Mario Balotelli, we get another early goal as he puts us 1-0 up in this 8th minute here. Balotelli scored early on against Zenit from the spot. This time it's from open play, and we take a good 1-0 lead. But Marco Sal's actually in behind here, and he does 2 or 3 players twisting and turning quite nicely. I was potentially going to look at bringing him in on one of those pre-contract deals, but unfortunately he'd already signed a contract with, or contract extension rather, with Calerie in the January transfer window, so we weren't able to bring him in. And that happened with quite a few players actually that we were looking to bring in, perhaps Yunus Kabul or Nani, etc. Because there are quite a few players that are available on pre-contract deals in the first season in January. But all of the ones that I looked at had already signed contract deals. But we brought in players that we thought we needed, like Leonardo Bonucci, etc. And they did very, very well for us. And the players that we've brought in so far, second season, are definitely doing the business for us so far. Pedro with a shot there, draws a good save, takes the corner himself. Up goes Leonardo Bonucci, came to the club in January last year, and he scores the goal to give us a 3-0 lead just before half time. And 3-0 seems to be the scoreline I love right now. We're scoring a lot of goals at this particular moment in time, and that one only just went over the line. You see from the second replay here, keeper got a good hand to it, but a little case of Graham Norton wrists, not quite as strong as they could be, and it only just went over the line. I did have a quick look at a couple of the replays just to try and make sure that the game hadn't screwed Calerie out of a result there, but still they're pushing on, and you have to say, even though he's offside there, he really should be at least hitting the target with that, and he was only just offside as well. Just leaning forwards. If he'd have stayed upright and tried to hold his run, then he definitely would have been on. But alas, poor Calerie, they didn't score, and we're going to push up the other end on the hour mark, trying to extend the lead. No, it's the other end. It's the second half, and they're again going to miss the target when they really should be doing better. Cabrera there was the guy that found himself free with 10 yards out from goal, and you just have to hit the target. And it's not, again, 3-0 doesn't tell the whole story. It's more a case of us being clinical and the opposition just not taking their chances right now, which is why I make the point that it's not necessarily too easy at this stage. Just because we're picking up results doesn't mean that the computer is just a walkover right now. They're just not taking the chances that they're creating. They're not creating any less than he did in the first season. We're just taking chances that we necessarily might have missed in the first season, and the computer are missing ones that they necessarily might have taken last season. But we're coming up against Palmo in this third game of the episode, and we're going to get another early goal. It's Julian Draxler picking up his second goal of his AC Milan career. Very, very nice finish with his head in just the third minute. 3 early goals in this one. But of course, we played a team that came up from Serie B earlier on in the series rather in the episode yesterday or the day before. I think we played Brescia. I think it was yesterday actually. And of course, Brescia came up from Serie B. Palermo came up from Serie B. We beat Brescia 6-2, and that game was full of goals as well. This is 1-1 after 10 minutes. Giovanni Dos Santos plays in Alexander Lacazette, and he comes very close to extending the lead to 2-1 just 15 minutes into the game. And it was only a good save from the goalkeeper there that denied the young Frenchman from extending our lead. And he's played in again here. Nice ball from Marcel Janssen, and again the goalkeeper is on hand to save Palermo's skins, and they clear the ball eventually with their rather affecting pink kit. But we go in at half-time with a score at 1-1. Now, Brescia was 2-2 at half-time, and then we went on an absolute rampage second half, scored another 4 to make it 6. But nothing happens until the hour mark, so I made a change, taking off Giovanni Dos Santos, bringing on Rubinho. Obviously had a good impact in the Zenit game, coming off the bench to score the goal that gave us that 3-0 win. And hopefully he was going to be involved in the move here. As you can see, he picks up the ball. Nice Ronaldo chop to get it to Draxler on the edge of the box. Has a decent shot on his 5-star weak foot, but unfortunately it flies past that far post and isn't quite as accurate as his earlier header had been, and we aren't able to extend the lead. We're pushing on towards the end of the game now. This one not quite as full of action as the previous two, and it was Adam Yates this time drawing a great save out the goalkeeper. And we're actually only going to take a point from this game against Palermo, so a 100% win streak for the season has come to an end. But we're still undefeated in all competitions so far, so hopefully that can continue. But that's going to bring this one to a close, guys. As you can see, we sit top of the table, joint level on points with Roma, because Juventus do have a game in hand, as do Napoli, who can draw level on us on 10 points should they win their game in hand, and Fiorentina, should they win that one, will only draw up to a point behind us as well. So it's still very, very tight at the top, as you might expect in the opening few games of the season. But that's going to bring this one to a close. Like I said, please do feel free to leave the video a like, guys, if you could be so kind. If we could hit over 100 again, that would be absolutely wonderful. Of course, there was a My Player, or there will be rather, a My Player episode uploaded later on tonight, so feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to make sure you don't miss out on that. There was a World Cup Stickerbook episode uploaded last night. Of course, Team of the Season came out last night, so it is understandable if you may have missed that. And of course, as always, there was an AC Milan career mode uploaded yesterday, and a link on screen on the end slate on the right hand side will take you to that. And feel free to follow me on Twitter as well at Chesnoy Gaming. We're closing in on 800 followers rather over there. We're closing in on 8,500 subscribers on the channel as well. So everything's coming up rosy right now. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you tomorrow.